Inject the corresponding grade of lubricating oil into power equipment, such as coal feeder, slag extractor, grade speed control gear, chain grade, and fan, up to the corresponding position. Do inching operation to all power equipment, such as coal feeder, grate, slag extractor, FD fan, ID fan, and water pump, to check whether the rotation direction is consistent with the equipment requirements. Adjust the damper of FD fan and ID fan to the minimum position, and continuously operate for 4 hours to check the operation status of fans. Discharge the air in the pipe and pump at the highest position of the pump. Check that the fan inlet is free of any obstructions. Check that the wind chamber at the lower part of furnace has been sealed well. Especially take special attention of the sealing of front and rear sides. Remove the garbage on the surface of the grate. Check whether the gap between grate and the sealing block is normal, and there is no debris embedded to block the running. Observe the distance between the two ends of the rear grate pin and the baffle plate from the rear inspection door, and make corresponding records. Check whether the overload safety device of grate reducer is safe and effective. Fill grease at both ends of the front shaft of the grate. Open the front grate manhole to check whether there are friction marks on both ends of grate pin. After over 20 circles of cold operation, check again whether the distance between the two ends of the rear grate pin is offside. If yes, tighten the bolts at the front diagonal position of the narrowed end until no changes of the distance between two ends when running, and without any abnormal sound. Ensure that the surface of a grate is smooth and with no bulge. Rotate the coal hopper inspection door. Calibrate the actual height of the coal grate to be consistent with that indicated, and adjust to the height suitable for running. Understand all valves opening status and indication position clearly. Make sure the water supply system is open and the blow-down system is closed. Especially know the working status of each valve of the water level gauge. Check whether the calibration pressure of the safety valve is within the calculable scope of the equipment. The softened water system operates normally and transfers quality soft water to the water tank. The water tank quality needs to be tested. Add the soft water detection agent into water. It appears red, the water is unqualified. If blue, the water is qualified. The power transmission of control cabinet shall be provided with extremely low water level alarm and a low water level display. Do a hydraulic pressure test on the boiler and inspection manhole, handhole, membrane, water wall, pipe, and smoke pipe. Open the minor air valve at the top of the boiler. Fill water until the water level on both sides reaches the safe running position. Calibrate water level display error on both sides to achieve consistency. The error should not exceed plus or minus 5 mm. Install lighting lamps with safe voltage at the back of water level gauge. The gauge should correctly mark the highest and lowest alarm water level and the normal operation rate. Control the water injection according to the composition of cinder and ash in the slag extractor. Add appropriate amount of wood in the furnace. Ignite and gradually heat the furnace. After drying for 5 days, add coal to dry furnace at a low temperature with small fire, which is generally controlled at about 3 days. Check the diameter of fuel particle to meet the boiler requirements as 0 to 30 mm. The proportion of particles smaller than 3 mm should be less than 35%, while those larger than 25 mm should be less than 5%. Close the coal hopper inspection door and charge the coal hopper. Start the grate. Send the coal to the poke door and put combustible material such as wood and paper crabs on it. Open the ID fan damper to enhance natural ventilation. After igniting the material, turn down the damper and open the ID fan intermittently. When the fuel in the combustion area has started to burn, the FD fan can be started. When the coal flame is strong, close the poke door. Load coal into the coal hopper and start the grate intermittently. At the same time, observe the fire situation and poke the fire properly. Keep the pressure in furnace under -50 to 100 Pa. Generally, first open the damper in the ignition area. Close the damper in non-fuel area. After the fuel spontaneously ignites, start the ID fan, FD fan, and grate in sequence. When the slag reaches the outlet, start the slag extractor and place slag conveying device at the outlet in time. It is suggested that the operation time shall be no less than 6 hours when the temperature is raised to the working pressure for the first time. Later, no less than 3 hours, and the running time for hot water should be no less than 1 hour. Close the auxiliary air valve after steam comes out, and then flush the elbow of pressure gauge and water level gauge. When the pressure raises to 2 to 3 kg, check the handhole and manhole cover for leakage. If any, tighten the bolts on cover and check whether the blowdown valve is tight. During the firing of boiler, monitor the outlet water temperature of economizer. It should be 40 degrees centigrade lower than saturated steam temperature and the working pressure. If it exceeds the specified temperature, close the valve connected economizer and boiler pipeline. Open the recirculation valve connected economizer and water tank to feed the economizer with water separately. The ash box of front grate shall be cleaned each shift. Clean the ash in the flue box of economizer once a week. Use the correct method to flush the water level gauge and pressure gauge. Otherwise, the connecting pipe of gauge will be blocked and cause inaccuracy of instrument display.